Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewer named Pineapple Paradox 9027. Thanks for the suggestion, Pineapple Paradox. You asked, why do some beaches whistle when you walk on them? The first time I heard sand make noise, I thought I had unlocked a side quest in a horror movie. But don't worry, you haven't stepped onto a cursed beach. You've actually stumbled onto something real and surprisingly scientific. Singing sand. That's right. Some beaches can whistle, squeak, bark, or even sing when you walk on them. Let's find out why. Right here on Explaining Everything. So picture this. You're strolling along a sunny beach. Your flip-flops are slapping. Your snacks are secured. Life is good. And suddenly, every step you take makes a weird chirping sound. You look around. No one else seems concerned. The sand itself is squeaking. You might think you're going mildly insane, but you're not. Some sand really does make noise when you walk on it. Scientists call this singing sand or whistling sand, and it's not all that common. Only a few beaches around the world have the right conditions for it. So what's actually making that sound? It's all about the physics of sand grains, and it's way weirder than you'd expect. Here's the deal. Not all sand can sing. In fact, most of it can't. The sand that does sing has some very specific qualities, and it's surprisingly picky. First, the grains have to be just the right size, usually between 0.1 and 0.5 millimeters in diameter. Too big, and they clunk. Too small, and they just smoosh. It's basically the Goldilocks of sand. Second, the grains need to be very round and very smooth. If you looked at them under a microscope, singing sand grains look almost like tiny marbles. If they're jagged or dusty, they don't sing. They just sit there, silently judging you. And third, and this is weirdly important, the sand has to be very dry. If there's moisture, even just a little, the grains stick together instead of rubbing and bouncing. Wet sand is like that one friend who refuses to dance. Kind of a downer at the beach party. Okay, so how does it actually produce sound? It all comes down to friction and vibration. When you step on the sand, you're compacting the grains. That pressure causes the grains to rub against each other and slide. If they're the right shape and dryness, that sliding motion creates tiny vibrations, kind of like rubbing two balloons together. But here's the kicker. Those vibrations can sync up. The grains actually resonate together, kind of like how a bunch of people clapping at different speeds can suddenly fall into rhythm and start clapping in unison. That's when you hear the chirp, squeak, or whistle. It's basically a sand grain boy band. And the tone of the sound, high-pitched or low-pitched, depends on the size of the grains and how fast they're moving. The faster and tighter the grains vibrate, the higher the pitch. So, now that you know the sand's picky, you might be wondering, where can I go hear this bizarre phenomenon for myself? Well, there are only about 30 to 40 beaches in the entire world where singing sand has been reliably documented. And even among those, not every part of the beach sings. Sometimes only a specific patch near the dunes will do it. you've got to find the VIP section. Some of the best-known whistling beaches include Sand Mountain in Nevada. Despite being nowhere near water, it's one of the loudest. The sand there actually booms when you slide down the dunes. Whitehaven Beach in Australia, known for its beautiful white silica sand that squeaks underfoot. Playa del Inglés in the Canary Islands. Walk around enough and you'll swear the beach is talking back. And yes, some places have signs warning visitors not to mess with the sand too much, because even stepping on it the wrong way can damage the fragile grain structure. Singing Sand is kind of a diva and a bit of a drama queen. You might be thinking, wait, I'm going to take some of this magic sand home and impress my friends. Yeah, don't bother. Scientists have tried to move singing sand from one beach to another, or even to a lab, and it usually stops singing. The environment has to be just right. Not only the grain properties, but also the humidity, air pressure, and even the slope of the ground all affect whether or not the sand will make noise. Basically, it's the beach version of trying to microwave leftover French fries. No matter what you do, it's just not the same. Aside from being a neat beach party trick and a great way to confuse your dog, singing sand is a great reminder that nature is way more precise and weird than we often give it credit for. Tiny changes in grain size, shape, or moisture can completely change whether something sounds like a haunted flute or just regular old dirt. It's one of those little wonders hiding in plain sight, and the fact that it needs such specific conditions makes it even cooler when you find it. So next time you're walking on a beach and it starts whistling at you, don't panic. You haven't stepped into a sand poltergeist zone. You've just met one of the rarest, weirdest sound effects nature has to offer. If you enjoyed this one, give it a like, maybe subscribe, and share it with someone who thinks sand is boring. Let them know it literally sings. And also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.